Welcome viewers to ReachIvy's webinar series, where we speak to admissions officers from top universities and schools from around the world. Let me quickly introduce ReachIvy and myself. ReachIvy is a boutique education consulting and career opportunities firm where we help prospective students and other people access their dream universities and professions. I am Suman. I'm Senior Counselor with ReachIvy, and I have the pleasure of working with hundreds of students every year who desire to study abroad in top schools. Today we have with us Nate Holt, all the way from University of Colorado Boulder, Leeds School of Business, and I believe it's bright and early 7 a.m. there. I'll quickly introduce Nate. Nate is Assistant Director of Admissions and Outreach at Leeds, and he is from Colorado, and in his spare time he likes hiking. He also holds a BA in Business Leadership and MBA from Kansas Wesleyan University. And now we'll quickly jump into the webinar, where I'd ask Nate to start with telling us a little more about the school and what's the philosophy, what's the mission of Leeds School of Business. Welcome, Nate.
Hi, Saman. Thanks for the introduction. Again, thank you guys for joining in today. And I'm guessing you're just getting off of work. I'm just going into work, so a little different schedule. So I thank you guys for taking the time. The University of Colorado Boulder, if you're not quite as familiar with us, is a large public university in the state of Colorado. We're kind of in the western central part of the United States. We're a total of about 33,000 students campus-wide, so it is a larger university. The Leeds School of Business within that is selective, which offers a great opportunity for our students because you are a part of a large university that has all of its great amenities, such as a lot of international student resources, rec centers, athletics. But then within the business school, you have small class sizes. You're building really strong relationships with your faculty, your classmates. So it's really a unique experience. And if you're not familiar with Colorado, it is the fastest growing state in the United States right now. People are moving here because of its great weather, its outdoor lifestyle. It offers the highest quality of life in the United States. So if you're familiar with states like California, our weather, we get just as much sunshine, but it's not quite as expensive, and you still have all the mountains. So it's a beautiful place to be.
Thank you, Nate. That sounds lovely. Let's quickly go into talking more about what the viewers are here for. Let's say the MBA program. So is there something in particular, particularly about the MBA program that you're proud of? Like, is there something you want to highlight, like the teaching style, any distinctive feature about the program?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been at admissions for quite a while and been at a number of different business schools. What I enjoy so much about the Leeds School of Business is the pure focus on the student experience. So everybody from your staff and your faculty to the dean are 100% focused on the quality of the education and your experience as a student. So that's just a really good environment to be around. Our students have a lot of opportunities to get involved within industries here locally. You're going to be in small class sizes, like I said, so you're building really strong relationships with our faculty like I've never really seen before. I mean, our faculty are really a part of your everyday experience, and you build lifelong relationships with them. They're top tier faculty that are coming from top business schools around the world. But they choose Leeds, one, because of the location of Colorado and the high quality of life, but also that small classroom environment where they still get to teach at a top business school, but in a small classroom environment. So I think just that focus on the student experience is what makes it so easy for me to come to work every day.
Sounds great. It's lovely to know that the faculty and the staff are so dedicated to the students. Anything in particular you can tell us about the design of the program in terms of, say, the curriculum and the specializations, for example?
Yeah, definitely. So uh, the type of class that we try to bring in every year is really trying to build as diverse of a class from different industries, students from all over the world, different backgrounds. So our program is really structured for that. It's a 2-year program that is 55 total credit hours, a total of 10 core classes and 10 electives. So within that, your core classes are going to offer disciplines such as finance, accounting, operations, strategy, uh, uh, everything you'd expect in a typical MBA. And then from that, you really get to customize your MBA experience. You have 10 electives. We offer specializations in operations management, entrepreneurship, finance, marketing, real estate, and corporate social responsibility. So it offers students really an opportunity to kind of build out their own experience. Within, to designate a specialization, you need 4 electives within one of those disciplines. So you can see you have a lot left over to choose from. You have up to 4 classes that you can take outside of the business school. So if you have really specific goals, maybe in engineering or construction or sustainability, renewable energy, you have options to take classes throughout the entire university, which is really unique. You're able to really kind of customize your overall experience. Within that, Leeds is year in, year out ranked as one of the most entrepreneurial business schools in the entire country. So I think in general, our students come with kind of a self-started attitude, very motivated, and just an entrepreneurial mindset in general.
Sounds great. It's also good to know that the students are able to leverage on resources from the University of Colorado at large through the classes and the other ways. Another question that we get very frequently is, what does a classic day look like on campus? And we are aware how different it could look like based on what people's interests are. But if you could take an example or two, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So our class size in general is about 100 students. So we split that into a morning and afternoon group. So you're not in class with a total of 100 people. So your core classes, you'll have about 50 students. And your electives, you'll have anywhere from 10 to 30 students. So your typical day, let's say you have a morning class, our students will, typically in Boulder, they'll ride their bike into class. They'll live close here in town and ride their bike to class. Walk over. It's a very active community, so you'll be in class for roughly about 3 hours in the morning, say 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then from there, you'll meet with your group mates in that class, working on a case study or a project, studying for an exam. Our program is extremely collaborative, so MBA programs will either be very competitive, kind of a cutthroat mentality, or collaborative. You'll be working with your classmates daily. So I think after that, you can expect to meet with your classmates, go to one of the many coffee shops here on campus, grab a coffee, review either a midterm, an exam, or a project that you're working on. And take advantage of the outdoors. Our students will study outside often because of the beautiful weather and the sunshine. And then after that, I think students kind of take a mental break. They'll head over to the Student Recreation Center, where it's 3 stories of exercise equipment and swimming pools and an ice rink and football field and indoor football field and basketball courts. So a lot of amenities to kind of relieve some stress. They get back into it. That first year, students aren't typically working, so they'll be very involved in clubs and organizations. And then after that first year, students will do an internship either here locally or throughout the country. Our career services team will help with that, which I know we'll talk more about. And then that second year, the student experience may change a little bit. as you may continue on with an internship that you had here, or you may be a part of, you may be a class representative, such as a class president or a president of a certain club. So you'll spend time being involved with those as well.
I think the highlight for me was you mentioning how collaborative the culture is, because we are aware how competitive and cutthroat, as you rightly said, the culture in business schools can be. So thank you for that. Elaborating on some of the things you mentioned about entrepreneurship and the career center, what kind of facilities would you want to highlight that Leeds offers for the students in terms of competitions, in terms of clubs, and in terms of other facilities?
Yeah, so I think one of the most unique aspects with our business school is our academic centers of excellence. So within entrepreneurship, we have the Deming Center of Entrepreneurship within the business school. So they house top research faculty and staff to really run programs for our students and additional resources. So they'll do numerous industry events throughout the year. They do trips throughout the United States, here locally. They go to Texas. They do an international trip each year where they just kind of do a deep dive. And typically they'll connect with an alumni and just kind of review, maybe go to a local startup and just kind of do a deep dive so you can get some hands-on experience within that. We have our venture capital case competition that we are involved with every year, and our students take very, very seriously. There's also a specific track that entrepreneurship students can take. It's a selective track that it's for high venture capital growth students that are interested in kind of getting into that field. So that's a selective track that our students can get involved in, that's ran through the Deming Center of Entrepreneurship. There's numerous electives. Like I mentioned, you have 10 electives. There you can take all electives in entrepreneurship if you want. So it's really a deep dive, and it's kind of a foundation of who we are here at Leeds.
Awesome, thank you. And now, again, as I'm sure as you work with international students, especially students from India, a big point of concern for a lot of students is what kind of career services they can expect, and especially some statistics regarding that would really help students feel at comfort while applying to the school. So is there anything you can tell us more about the career center and any statistic on that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that we all know that placement for international students in the United States can be a challenge for career teams within a university setting, because it's out of their control for an employer to essentially support that student. So what our team does, you'll have a professional development course is one of your first courses in the program in your first semester. That's our career services team, looking at everything, sitting down and reevaluating everything. So from the start, they'll restructure your resume, your LinkedIn profile, do mock interviews, and sit down and set out a personalized goal with you. It's a one-on-one approach, just like everything that we do here. So they'll sit down with you, say, okay, what are your goals? What industries are you interested in? Are there specific companies, locations? And then from there, they set out a plan. We have career fairs throughout the year here at Leeds and at the university. We have employers here multiple days a week that are here specifically recruiting our undergraduate and graduate students within the business school. They set up right at the library, and our students go and talk to them. So throughout your 2 years, you have a ton of opportunity to connect with our students. So making sure that you're just taking advantage of those opportunities and throughout those 2 years, and networking with everybody. And that's just here within the business school. After that first year, they'll help place you with an internship, either locally or back home, depending on your goals.
Mm.
There's national career fairs that top 100, top 500 companies here in the US specifically only recruit MBA students. We send our students to those career fairs if they're interested, if that aligns with their goals. And we do everything that we really can. Really take as aggressive as an approach as we can to placement from day one. And it's a very hands-on approach. You'll build really strong relationships with your career services team. Essentially, you're just part of the family, and I think that really goes a long way on the career services side and your student experience as a whole. Because you're not just another number. The individual on the career services team really cares about you because they know where you come from. They probably know your parents' name or your brother and sister's name. They know you on a deeper level, and they know your goals and who you are. So they genuinely really want to help you reach those goals, and you're not just a statistic.
It's great to know that the personalized approach of the career services team for the students. Talking a little more about students, what would you say is a typical fit? Like, what would you say, what kind of a student should be applying to Leeds? Is there a particular USP that the school follows, and particular philosophy that that a students might find themselves aligned with to apply to the school?
Yeah, I mean, I think two answers to that question. We look to build as diverse of a class as possible each year with students from all over the world, from different industries and different backgrounds. That being said, Leeds has its strengths, and that definitely brings in a certain type of student. So we are known for entrepreneurship and corporate social responsibility. So like I said, our students typically are self-starters, very motivated, coming in with big aspirations and big goals. They're typically focused on the greater good and what their work will do for society and how it'll improve things. And we see that from students. They may be coming from all over the world in different industries, but they're very similar in that fact. They're typically very active as Colorado. There's hiking trails a half a mile from campus. We're right in the mountains here. So it just attracts definitely a certain type of person.
Awesome. Sounds great. Let's jump into the application process a little bit. Again, students can find a lot of information on the application per se on the website, but is there any personal advice that you'd want to give students, any particular do's and don'ts that they cannot find on the website regarding the application process?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing is use the application to tell your story. We want to get to know you. Not only are we looking at academic background and test scores, things like that, we want to hear your story. We want to hear your triumphs and adversity that you've faced and how you overcame that. And we really want to get to know you as an individual because we want to make sure that that this is a good fit for you and that we're able to help you reach your goals. So tell your story in your essay questions. The biggest thing is that we see is pick good recommenders for your recommendation letters rather than choosing somebody that may have a really good title or an owner at a company but may not know you very well. Choose a professional reference or a mentor or somebody that knows you really well that can speak to that story and can attest to your work ethic and who you are as an individual. So it continues that storyline of telling us who you are as an individual, because that's what we want to know. And the more your application can do that, and then the more you're able to tell your story and tie that bit back into your goals and how an MBA program will help you and how Leeds will help you, will really line you up for putting together a good application.
Awesome. And very close to that, the admissions process is financial aid, of course.
Mhm.
Is there anything you can tell us more about scholarships, especially for the international applicants?
Yeah, definitely. So we consider all applicants for our merit-based scholarship. So that's going to be your main scholarship award. There's no additional application within that. So you'll automatically be considered for those within your scholarship applicant or within your general application for admission. So in your decision letter, if you were awarded scholarship, a merit-based scholarship, you would be granted that in your decision letter. I would say throughout the program, 85–90% of our students receive some type of scholarship award. There's multiple opportunities. So being able to apply early is the best, puts you in the best position, because at that point, you'll be considered for our merit-based scholarships. And then upon receiving admission, there's additional scholarships that you can apply for, focusing in entrepreneurship, in diversity, and in real estate. So there's additional scholarships that that require an essay question that you can apply for. The university is large, so there's additional scholarships through the university that you can apply for. And then as a student coming back your second year, there's also scholarships that you can apply for. And those are focused on academic base, service base, how involved you are in the program, if you're involved with clubs or running for class president or things like that. And then and need-based as well. So there's additional opportunities within that second year that students can apply for. So if you take advantage of all your opportunities and really put a lot of thought into it, and again, tell us your story and relate it back to that scholarship topic for those specific scholarships, you can really take advantage of a lot of opportunities, and they add up.
It's great to know that, learn more about the merit scholarships, and I encourage our viewers to check out the application process more in detail on the website. Coming towards the end of the webinar, what's the one thing you want to leave our audience with in terms of why should they choose to consider or apply to Leeds, and what's the one advice you'd give them for this process?
I think why choosing Leeds is it's a dynamic environment right now. Colorado offers one of the best economies in the nation right now. So that's creating a lot of job opportunities for our students. It's a great student experience in one of the best locations in the country. So it just creates a really unique experience where you're able to customize your MBA and feel part of a family. You're coming from a long way from home, and you can come somewhere that you're not just another number, and that you can feel part of the family. And we encourage you to keep looking at other schools, and we ultimately wish you the best, and always are happy to talk to anybody that has any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Nate. For any questions specifically about Leeds School of Business at the University of Colorado, please feel free to reach Nate at his email address at nate.holt, Holt, at colorado.edu. Nate also, I believe, visits India on outreach activities, so I think he'll be happy to connect with you on that. For any to avail any of our services from ReachIvy, please reach help@reachivy.com. Thank you, Nate, for joining us this early morning. Thank you, viewers, for joining us.
Thanks, Suman.